beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly. It's really lovely to see you here today. Oh, I'm excited today. I've had this video planned for a little while, and I've kind of wanted to talk about my personal journey in shamanism and where I've got to, and if you would like a whole video about that, I'm more than open to doing it. So I was like all prepared to do this video, and then I saw Black Panther, and yes, I only saw it a couple of weeks ago. I waited until it was on TV because I couldn't, I wasn't well enough at the time, so I had to wait for it to be on TV. And oh my goodness, I just loved it. But what I loved the most was it showed some shamanism and some journeying, and I was like looking at my husband just like, that's what I've experienced, like that's the thing, that's what I'm talking about, because I'd been trying to explain what shamanic journeying was like, and then there it was. So I really wanted to come and just have a little chit chat to you guys about what I've learnt so far and how Black Panther kind of showed me what I'd been experiencing myself. So I've been interested in shamanism for a while now, probably since I first started to awaken, and I kind of felt like I can't do that because of the way a lot of shamanic cultures have been raped and pillaged by the British white people. And so I was like, I don't want to, no, it's not my thing. I can't do that. I can't at all. And then I'd been talking about it and asking people about shamanism. And my friend Josh got me this book for Christmas. I will leave an affiliate link down below if I can find this book on Amazon. But The Shamanic Journey by Paul Francis. It's a practical guide to therapeutic shamanism. And I was like, to what shamanism? So basically, I haven't read a hell of a lot of this book because I'm savouring every page and I'm taking it all in. But basically what we believe as shamans is that everything has a soul. My sofa has a soul, the world has a soul, this bookcase has a soul, these crystals have a soul, everything has a soul, even animals and plants and everything. And the universe as a whole. Well, that would be God. So, if that makes sense to you. I hope so. So, everything has a soul, a life force, and a consciousness. And that really radiated for me. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I've always felt that way. When I was a kid, like, I would pick something up, like a stone or something, just messing around, and then I would become attached to the stone and I wouldn't be able to like just throw it away or put it somewhere. I'd have to hold on to it, and I've got a whole jar full of stones that I've collected over my life. So I've always become attached to things, and then when I thought about it, I was like, you know, when we were house hunting, when you go into a house and you kind of feel like, oh no, this isn't for me, no, and then you walk into the right house, you'd be like, yes, this is the one. It just kind of feels like something's clicked into place. It's the perfect, this is where I'm supposed to be. That's the soul vibing with your soul, do you know what I mean? I sound like such a hippie, but that's how we feel. So shamanism can be used to heal body, mind, spirit, and help with personal and spiritual development. And it can be used to heal the world, a piece of earth, a dog, a cat, a person, an ancestor. It doesn't matter the time frame. So you can send healing back in time, forward in time. It doesn't really matter because time is... It's a whole thing in maths and physics that proves that it's like a loopy thing. I've tried my best to understand it, but I can't. It blows my brain out. All the dimensions and stuff like that, I believe in all of it, but I cannot fathom. My brain just can't compute it. But modern shamanism, this therapeutic and another type that's called core shamanism. They're not cultural at all. It's not based on any indigenous or cultures that are from a specific place. So you're not taking something from a specific, like Native Americans or somebody in Peru or something like that. You're not taking their specific cultural things. But a man called Michael Harner started core shamanism, and what he did was he went round all the different cultures, and he found that there were specific things that they all did that were the same. And so those things that he did the same, he distilled down into what he called common and universal shamanism. And it's not specific to any culture, which I really, really loved. There's a lot of people who practice it, but I'm struggling to find somebody in my area that practices it, because I would love to meet up with somebody who practices. But who knows who will come into my life, you know? So in shamanism, we do a thing called journeying, and this is like a trance-like state, a very deep meditation that you get into by chanting or drums or rattles that kind of keep a steady beat, and that beat kind of helps you get into like a trance. I've only managed to journey a couple of times, and it's been incredible, like so eye-opening, and I just was like, where have I just been? What just happened? It was really strange and crazy, and I wanted to understand it more, and that's why I turned to this book finally, because it had been given to me and I was experiencing things that I couldn't really put my finger on or give word to. And so this is when this book came into my life, and I started to read it, and it just answered all my questions, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm just at the very beginning of the book, but already I've learned so much. And obviously this is something I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life. So we're only at the beginning, kids. We're only at the beginning. But basically in shamanism, we journey to 3 different worlds. So you have the lower world, which is basically Mother Nature. It's full of trees and flowers and spirit guides, and it's where people go when we pass over, and we live as indigenous people. There's no technology, there's no, you know, we live in the very basic way in that world. And there's a lot of animals there, a lot of forestry. It's just a very lush, safe place, and that's why they say that's the first place you should try journeying to, because there's nothing there that's going to harm you. It's completely safe. There is nothing there that's ever going to harm you. You can trust everybody is a good person, as a good spirit, and so it's really nice to go there. The second place that you should go to is the upper world. This is where you say like the heavenly realm, where your upper spirit guides and angels and angelic beings and all that kind of thing is all up there, and that's exactly how you picture it in your head. I haven't been there myself, but obviously he describes it in here, and it's exactly how you would picture heaven to be in your head. So that sounds beautiful. I can't wait to go there. And then the middle world is this world. Nobody can be trusted in the middle world, and so it's the place that you should go to last. It's the place that you need to be really, really rock solid in the first 2 worlds before you even attempt to go into the middle world, because everybody has 2 faces. Everybody, you see everything in a scary way. And from what I can tell, it's the middle world is like I imagine hell to be. So it really scares me. I'm sure I will go there when I'm more confident with everything, and hopefully when I find a group or somebody to go with. But it sounds so scary. But the more I read about it, the more I was like, these worlds, they all need us to go and heal them. We need to work with our ancestors to heal this world, to heal the planet. And I was having experiences that I couldn't explain to people. Like, I didn't have the words or the language yet to express where I'd been and what I'd seen. And then we saw Black Panther, and wait, pause. Have you seen Black Panther? Because if you have not and you plan on seeing it, please click out the video, go and watch the film, then come back, because there are going to be spoilers ahead. I'm sorry, but there are. So this is your last chance saloon. Spoilers ahead. Have they gone? Okay. So the first person that we see take a shamanic journey is T'Challa, and this is when he's becoming king. It's part of the whole process. He's given a special plant or herb or something that he takes, and it puts him into a trance. A lot of shamans will use plants and herbs and things that will bring a trance-like state on to help them journey. So this really made sense with what I had heard and read about. So I was really interested that they brought that into it. And it was really cool because he was lying in the sand and he was purple, flashing purple. It was really cool the way they did it. And then they buried him. There are some places where they do get buried alive. And there are some people who go to these places to do it as a dare or kind of an adrenaline rush kind of thing. But yeah, there are some places where people will get buried alive. I don't think we do it in this kind of shamanism, but it's still very interesting that they showed that on the film. And then when he's transported, when he goes on to his journey, he meets with, I think it's a tree with panthers, and they're his ancestors, and his father jumps down and turns from a panther into a person. And he has a really, really great talk with his dad. They talk about things, they work through his survivor's guilt from the fact that he was there when his father died. And they talk through the fact that he has all these worries and fears about becoming king. And it's just a really beautiful thing. And I was like, that really feels like it's either the upper world. Yeah, probably the upper world actually. So he goes to the upper world and the sky is brilliant pinks and purples and it's beautiful. And I was just looking at it in awe, just saying to my husband, oh my goodness, this is what happens when you journey. It's you're transported to a completely different dimension and place and time. You could be anywhere in time and you're there and things are happening, and it's something that I couldn't put into words until I saw this film, and that's why I'm so thankful to Marvel for this. So then the next person we see is Killmonger, who was brought up in modern society in America. And so he's grown up wanting revenge for his father's death. He's got a lot of ego and a lot of revenge, a lot of hateful feelings that he hasn't really dealt with through his life. Because a big part of shamanism is dealing with your shadow self. That's what they call it. Dealing with that side of yourself that you don't like people to see. That side of yourself that you kind of want to hide away. And I found it very interesting that he was taken, when he did the journey, he was taken definitely to the middle world. He met up with his own father, but you could tell that he had never journeyed before. He didn't really understand the process or what was going on. Nobody had really explained it to him. As she offered him the herb, he was just like, you want me to eat what now? He was very, very confused. And it was a very emotional and emotion-driven journey. And you're kind of told as you journey to strip away your ego. You have to face who you are and strip away that ego so that you can have a pure journey, so that you can have something that's really going to help you along your spiritual journey, and not just this anger-driven, revenge-driven thing that Killmonger has. And you can tell that the conversation he has with his father is very different to the one that T'Challa has with his father. You can tell that maybe that isn't actually his father, because I did read in this book that sometimes when you're in the middle worlds, you'll think you're talking to your spirit guide, and in actual fact it's a spirit with malintent that's pretending to be your spirit guide. So you can't always trust what you're thinking and feeling, who you're talking to, and I definitely felt that with this journey, that he was in this dirty, grimy, dark room and he was talking to this man who was showing no real emotion, and it definitely I felt that inside me, definitely, just like, oh my goodness, he's in the middle world and he doesn't really know what he's doing, nobody's taught him how to do this. Oh, it must have been terrifying. And then the third journey we get to see is T'Challa when he is dying, and his second journey is a last-ditch attempt by the people who love him to bring him back to life. He is taken to the lower world. You can tell it's the lower world because it's much more natural looking, the sky is more natural looking. His ancestors are stood all around waiting to give him help, waiting to heal him and bring him back to life. And you can feel the love around them all. It's like they're being supported and they're all there welcoming him to the spirit world, and he's like, oh no, I don't want to stay here, I just want some advice, I've got to get back. And that's definitely what I understood the low realm to be. It's the place where you go for deep healing, it's the place where you go to commune with nature and to spend time with your spirit guides, to learn and grow. It's the first place that you start with. It's completely safe, it's loving, and it's where your ancestors are. That's where you can call on them to work with the land, or you can call on them, you know, when you're doing your tarot readings, or if you go to see a medium, for example. It really, really just made me smile so big to see how they represented the lower realm. It wasn't hell, because that's what a lot of faiths that went to shamanism, mainly Christians, went and kind of took what they wanted from other cultures, and what they took from that was the 3 stages. So you have purgatory, heaven and hell. The heavenly realms stayed quite close to what you picture as in the upper world. The middle world became purgatory, so you keep coming back to here until you're good enough to go up to the heavenly realm, and then for some unknown reason the lower realm became, you know, the Garden of Eden became hell, became this horrible twisted up place, and I don't understand how they got that from there, because it's the exact opposite. Shamanism is something that I'm going to be talking about as we go forwards. As I read more and learn more, I'm starting to see more and more of this in the films and TV programs that I watch, and I really want to talk about that on my channel. Talk about how modern culture, we're yearning to get back to that way of life and that way of thinking, and we don't quite know how to get back to it. So it's interesting that when we're being creative, that's what we think about. We think about what's going to happen when we die, where are we going to go, and those are the things that we think about. So if you'd love to have me do a series about this sort of thing in popular culture, definitely let me know down below. I did do a video about spiritual awakening, being like Clary from Shadowhunters. I really enjoyed that video, so I'll leave links up and down for you to go and check that out. Don't forget my lovely, beautiful butterflies. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a great big thumbs up and go down there, hit that little subscribe button, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here Mondays and Fridays, and I hope you'll come back. I hope that you will, because I really enjoyed talking about this. If you have any questions, thoughts, feelings, please let me know down below. I would love to talk about this. I'm really excited to maybe meet other shamanic practitioners and people who be able to help me on my journey, because at the moment it's just me and books and the internet, and that's not always a good thing. So I would love to connect with other people who are into this. So don't forget, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Don't forget to make somebody smile every single day, because a smile can change a life. And I'll see you back here on Friday. Bye.